Are we playing video games or are we having sex? I'm confused now. I don't know how time works. That part's coming out.
What?
His
No,
mom
no. Oh, he ain't got shit. Kicked you out the window.
putting babies out the window.
I wrote you a letter. Read the fine print.
Like, you ready for this?
You weren't supposed to see it.
I'm fine with violence. Violence is fine.
What's up, everybody? Oh my God. See, I was like, oh man, I got this. I'm gonna be able to do this, and then fucked it up. This is Blue Skies from the Basement. I'm Austin. Joined with me, as always, is Wes.
How's it going?
And today we actually do have a special guest with us too. She's over there on her phone. She probably won't talk much, but my beautiful fiance Honesty is over there. If you want to say hi, or she'll probably talk randomly. It's okay. Anyways, welcome. It's been a week here. We already put out the first episode. This will be like what, the third episode?
Yeah, the timeline's gonna get confusing here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking to you from the future, but when you listen to it, it'll be the past. I don't know.
No, when you listen to it, well, yeah, it'll be the past, but you're gonna perceive it as the present.
You'll be in the future, and we'll be in the past. But right now, we're in the future, and they're listening to the past. I think. I don't know.
You lost me.
Yep.
I'm gone.
Lost
already.
myself. I don't know how time works.
Yeah, see, that was one of the things. I knew that if I ever tried to do a show or anything, I couldn't fuck around with time travel and shit like that. I have no concept of all the laws and everything.
Maybe in a future episode, we can dive into... I'll try to wrap my mind around it a little better. I am not prepared at the moment to...
We should get a good guest on that would really be able to help us understand everything.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's possible to travel at any speed, theoretically, in the future. So you could time travel to the future, but there's no way to go back.
Okay. All right.
From what I understand. And if you think about it, we're technically time traveling right now, just really slowly.
Extremely slowly.
Yeah.
Well, to us, at least.
But if somebody on the outside was, from their perspective, it would be, we're traveling pretty fast.
Good point. That's like the farther out you go from the Earth, the more time gets faster or slower.
I think you experience time slower. It's slower. Astronauts age slower.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to cut that out so I don't sound stupid. That part's coming out.
All right, so let's just jump into the first subject for real. We're talking about this guy in India, right?
I don't know if he's actually in India still, but he is Indian. Let me figure out where this guy lives. If you want to continue introducing the story, I'll get some more details on him.
Give me his name, though, because I'm horrible.
Raphael Samuel.
Raphael Samuel.
Yes.
So, supposedly he's trying to sue his parents for birthing him. Because, like, he's trying to say that he didn't give them consent to be born, and so he gets to sue them.
Yeah, that's the basic premise there. There's a whole movement behind this, too. Apparently, there's a community of people that believe that they didn't consent to being born, so therefore, they were wronged by being brought into the world. It's very nihilistic. You've got this view of the world that there's too much humans, so you kind of treat yourself as if you shouldn't be here. They have a positive outlook on it, though. So there's a whole subreddit for this if you want to check it out. It's called Anti-Natalist. And all the people there are, like, super optimistic and happy, and they don't talk about it like it's a dark... They're not talking about, like, culling the population and getting rid of a bunch of people, but they just, for whatever reason, believe that they shouldn't have been born, and having babies is selfish, and we should cut back on having children.
Okay, well then...
I don't fully disagree with that. I just think
well,
taking
obviously
it to
you have two kids.
Yeah.
So.
Having kids is a little selfish, but at the same time, like, you can't say that your baby's not going to be this, like, important inventor or scientist or thinker or leader, or even, like, you don't have to go as far as that, but I have a pretty fun life, I think. It's fun to be me, so,
Yeah.
like, who are you to say that a baby shouldn't be born?
I, it looks like they're looking at it from a point of view where they just think that we shouldn't repopulate instead of trying to like better the population so we live a better life. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to like you shouldn't have kids. Oh, it's selfish to bring them up in this world because it's such a shitty world right now. But what do you want to do to change that? Like how like maybe one of these kids that's being born does invent something that like totally changes the way that we live and for the better.
Yeah, yeah. What if that? I mean, these people, I assume, aren't having children because they believe that having children is bad for the world. So, what if they're denying the rest of society the guy who comes up with a way to terraform another planet so that we can, like, reach out into the stars and populate another planet?
Right.
Like, I know that's a little extreme. That's a big leap of faith to kind of have to take, but we're talking huge numbers here. You don't know. I mean, the more people we have, then the more we're gonna make babies, and then there's more people to make more babies faster.
Wasn't there like a post that was like millennials aren't having enough babies to repopulate the
Yeah, so it does kind of it has its peaks and valleys. Like population isn't gonna raise every year. Like some years it'll be down from last year, but overall it's an upward trend. I think eventually it'll kind of bottom out, is what I've heard. Where like
I mean it has to.
we'll reach a point where it's not sustainable to keep having children, or maybe we live in this utopia where we don't need to have children, or if we do have children, then we've got the resources for it. That'd be another planet scenario where we've moved on from ours. But that's hundreds of years in the future, probably.
Earth will just be a birthing planet.
Ooh, that'd be
Oh, and then
crazy.
this goes into our whole fucking story before about the genetics and them picking out the best and that stuff. So you live on Earth and you either get killed or you get sent off to another planet depending on if you passed the intelligence test or the athletic test, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it's ultimate eugenics where you've just got a whole planet dedicated to sorting out babies and
Yeah.
sending them to other planets.
And depending on like what you excel in would be what planet you like go to. We're like populated on different planets and shit.
Yeah,
That'd be insane.
that's the ultimate extreme of what this antinatalist thing is. It's like if you're gonna have to have babies, then make sure that they're going to the right places. Because their whole argument is that we've got too many people, but if we advance enough that we are on multiple different planets and you can just send different types of people to different types of planets, then problem solved.
I guess.
That's awful. It's an awful future, but I I don't know what their I guess their end goal is for people to have less babies, but that I come back to the feeling that it's who are you to say that somebody shouldn't have a
If
child?
you don't want to have kids, it's your own personal opinion. You can do that.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't tell other people that they shouldn't have kids. Or that they're wrong. You shouldn't look down on them because they decide to have kids. Like that's where I feel that this is going off in the wrong direction. But then again, you did say that some of those people are optimistic and like enjoy life, so I would hope that they aren't just like rude to people that have a different, view on it.
That kind of gets into who this guy is. So that's kind of the basic story is this guy, he's suing his parents because he believes he didn't consent to being born. So he's going to sue his parents for the pain and suffering of being alive, I guess.
Well, why'd you fucking swim to the egg, dude?
Yeah, that's okay. So here's where the story gets kind of crazy is his parents are lawyers, both of
Oh,
them.
you gotta be fucking shitting me.
And his mom says he should be suing them.
What?
His
No,
mom
no, 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 no.
his mom thinks this is a fun thought experiment for us all, and that the goal here is if he can prove that there was a way for him to give consent before he was born, then he could possibly win a case in court.
Oh, he ain't got shit.
So that's kind of what this all rests on is him being able to come up with a way to say that they could have asked him for consent before he existed.
No.
Yeah,
How?
I don't think there's a way.
How? I like. There's no. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. No.
Okay, so this guy,
That's
Like,
why she's okay with it, because she knows that there's no way for him to, like, the moment that he brought this up, she was like, "Yeah, go ahead. I mean, if you can do it, it's a miracle, and like I will bow down, but I don't think you can do it. So
she's
by
not
all
being as
means."
nonchalant about it as that, though. Like, that'd be fine if that's how she was about it, but she's kind of like actively supporting him in this. Like, it's a fun thing for society to be talking. Like, we should be trying to have this debate. She thinks that he could possibly make a case that could go on the books and
Okay,
maybe make
well,
it into a law somewhere.
I need to see what your what he would think would be the way that he gives them the consent before he's even born.
If people want to see a video explanation of this guy, just a heads up, he's got a giant fake beard on in all appearances that he makes. He pictures, videos, he's wearing this huge fake beard. But on Reddit, if you go to the subreddit antinatalism, they're pretty much the top post there right now is this guy explaining why he's suing his parents and his beliefs. And it's not a very long video. It's about 4 minutes long, so you can get a quick explanation straight from the source of what this guy thinks. And then decide for yourself. I like I said, I kind of half agree with him, but the way he's going about it feels really
Half
dumb.
agree in what way?
I wish I kind of agree that there's too many people, but I don't.
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. But that's not his point. We're not arguing about it's there's too many people or not. We are arguing about the fact that he did not give his parents consent before he was born to give birth to
Well,
him.
that's the half that I think is stupid.
Okay, that's the only half that we should be concerned about right now,
Yeah, yeah.
because that is totally different than you being like, people shouldn't have kids and there's an overpopulation right now, because we're not. No, 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 no. You can't put those two things together when you're arguing the first fact.
This guy has a YouTube channel. If you want to
Great.
go back and check out some
Great.
of his other videos. So the reason I bring that up is is this guy a troll of some sort? The fake beard is throwing me off. I don't know if this
The
is just
fake
some sort
beard
of
just
online persona that he's creating for himself.
it could just be for protection, really. I mean, he just doesn't want.
He does wear glasses all the time too, but he's put his name out there and his parents have done interviews. People know who he is.
You just haven't seen any like picture evidence of
Yeah,
his
he just
actual
always
face.
has this fucking beard on. Like
Google search like an image and see if you can find like just his face and without the beard and the
Okay, I'll
glasses.
see what I can find. I pulled up his YouTube channel because I wanted to see how far back he goes. I think he's like 27 years old.
No shit. Well, him and fuck Jerry aren't too what's his name? Ellie Tabelli?
Elliot Tabelli, yeah, that guy's
No, Ellie
great.
Tabelli.
Ellie Tabelli.
Ellie Tabelli is what his name is. He fucking said it, not me, so.
Yeah, his YouTube channel only goes back 11 months. So this guy hasn't been doing this specific character or whatever for very long, as far as I can tell. About a year now, he's been on this kick.
So if you didn't give them the consent before you were born, why did you swim to the egg? And then why did you continue to go through the process? I mean, I guess are you kind of forced to go through it? Is that what he's saying? Like, there's no way to give the mother a sign before you're born that you don't want to be born. You don't even have a basic premise of what this world is to decide that. You haven't seen anything that's happening in this world. Like the moment that you come out of the womb, all you're just in this room, and this is all you've known about this world is right here.
I think if this actually does go in front of a judge somehow, or like is heard in some way, and he has, that's probably where it would go. He would have to get down to the specifics of when he could have given consent at the exact moment of like fertilization, because you brought up the idea of why did he swim to the egg, but his argument would be that that sperm specifically isn't him until it hits the egg, and then that become like you need both parts to make the person. You need the egg
Yeah.
and the sperm.
Okay, good point. Good point.
So he would say that the sperm was a biological tool of his father. So like I think his argument would be that some way that's a piece of his father's consciousness and still not his decision. If you break it all the way down to what happens when the sperm hit the egg, and then at what point do the cells gain like once there's a brain, that's formed inside the womb, at what point can you call that brain conscious? Because when does it come online is kind of the question there. And then at that point, babies have no awareness of what's going on. So you'd have to get into the argument of, is there such thing as a soul? And does the soul contain your consciousness and everything that's gonna be? Because that's what it would have to contain for it to be you arguing present day that you shouldn't have been born because you didn't give consent.
So pretty much you're just saying you need to be able to see into the future by looking at your conscience.
You'd have to prove that such a thing as a soul exists and that it would contain all of your life experiences before you're born.
Good luck.
That's the
Good luck.
only way I can wrap my mind around what his argument would be, because otherwise I can't think of anything that would make sense.
No, me
You'd have to
neither.
get spiritual with it.
Which in a court that doesn't hold up.
Well, then he'd have to start making. I mean, there's been times in court where people have argued that science doesn't know everything yet. So, like unexplained phenomena that have happened to people. People have tried to argue court cases where it's like, we don't know yet, so you can't discount this.
I mean, this is true. There was like a story about like a little boy that was born and somehow knew where his past self had been killed and who killed him and where his body was buried and all this other shit. I don't know how true that is, but like if that's something that can happen, I mean,
Yeah, man.
I still don't see any reason at all. Like none of this makes sense to me. And I would almost argue the fact that yeah, you didn't give your parents consent, but when you came out of the womb, they could have just fucking kicked you out the window and just been like, see you later, and you would have died. They decided to take care of you. You weren't like a burden to them. And if your parents are lawyers too, I'm sure they got plenty of money. This is another reason why you're totally fine with fucking suing them.
Yeah. I would also be curious if he's arguing for just consent or informed consent, because that's kind of an issue too.
I wrote you a letter.
Well, like, no,
I need you to sign here, here, initial here, and here, giving me consent to birth you. Please and thank you.
Well, the difference between just consent and then informed consent is that I ask you, hey, can I do something to you? And then you say yes, but you don't know what the fuck I'm going to do yet. So I could do anything, but you gave me consent. Informed consent is I tell you exactly what's going to happen, and then you decide whether or not you want that for your life. So that's kind of where I'm getting into, like, his soul would have to have contained all of his life experiences and consciousness for him to be able to make the decision of informed consent before his parents birthed him.
We
And
would
that
have
would
to see
also
into the future.
that would include the time period that you're born in, because let's say you were born 500 years ago instead of today. That's a whole different set of societal circumstances. You're gonna have a rougher life. Like you said, the parents might have decided to just punt the baby out the window. Back then, that could have happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's way more likely people were just punting babies out the window. You go back a few hundred years and shit was fucked up.
Do your research.
Yeah.
So again, you'd have to see into the future is where that argument would come into play. So what you're saying is that your soul would have your whole life already laid out, and then your conscious mind would have to look at your soul and your lifetime and see what you were going to do, and then decide whether or not you should be born or whether you want to be born or not.
Yeah, it's like somebody walks up to you with a contract before you're born, and it's like, here's every little thing that's gonna happen.
Read the fine print.
You want to do this? And you're like, yeah,
sure. Why not?
Sign up for this ride. Then I'd be curious to see if he believes in determinism. Like, does he think that everything that happens to you in your life is already laid out for you? That's kind of what religious people think, is like God knows everything, and the only way for that to be possible is that everything's already set the way it's going to happen. Because if he knows exactly what's going to happen next, then that's what's going to happen next no matter what. So your life is determined for you. Or does he believe that you have free will? Because that free will doesn't mesh with his argument at all.
Either way, if he's going to argue the fact that he could have had the choice of consent before he was born, he would have already done it, right? He wouldn't have even been here to argue that fact. Am I right?
That's a really good point. If you
Because if
want to
he's
turn,
saying that now, he knows, like, from the get, he never wanted to be born. Like, and he's trying to argue the fact that when he was in the womb, he already didn't want to be born. If you had the choice to do that, wouldn't you have already done it?
yeah, so if you turn his argument against him, exactly what he's saying, you just flip it around on himself. He's actually trying to remove retroactively consent that he already gave. He's like, wait, 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 I didn't mean that. Because if you follow his ideas through, this would have to be a deterministic world, and he would have had to have given consent to be born. If he really believes what he believes, I don't know what his argument is, but the only thing I can, like, as far as in court, how he would prove that he would have had to give consent would have to have some form of a soul. So in that case, it's determinism, and he gave consent to be born, and that's why he's here. We win.
Dude, case closed.
Yeah.
I don't even think it'll ever. I hope it doesn't go to a court. I think it would.
I don't think it will. I think this guy's just trying to stir up shit on the internet. I mean, his YouTube channel has 991 followers, so just under 1,000. And there's a subreddit community dedicated to this view, the antinatalism. I don't know how many people that has on it, but I got the feeling he's got a small following, and he's just trying to throw out some noise on the internet.
Probably.
It got him a BBC article.
I mean, there you go, I guess.
Yeah, he's all over the internet right now. We're talking about him.
Yeah, but I'm also not looking at you in a bright light, though. I'm sorry. Not in this sense. I'm kind of like looking. It seems like you're just stretching. You're just stretching to find something, and I don't. I'm not gonna pay attention to something like that. Really, like I don't really want to. I mean I am paying attention to it, obviously, since we're sitting here talking about it. But I would just wanted to bring up the fact of it's not anything that you should worry about. Like, and you are not gonna be able to go and sue your parents. That's not gonna be a thing. I really don't, because if they can do it over in wherever he's trying to do it at, and that becomes a thing here, like people that try and sue their parents, I'm just not going to agree with you at all. I'm not going to support you. I just don't feel that that's something that you should do. And I didn't live like the best life, and my parents have made mistakes while I've been alive that, affected my life and everything. So there's no way that you could sue your parents. I don't think so. It's not.
You didn't pop out and then the doctor hands you a pen and a contract. Like, you ready for this?
Right. You don't even know your name.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know who you are or what's going to happen.
So it's pretty dumb. I think there's some humor in it. I think it's kind of a funny story, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. But to take it as far as, like, I have this belief and I'm part of this movement, and this is part of my identity in life, is I believe that having children is selfish and we should have less children, and putting a label on it and everything, that's not funny. It's stupid, and we shouldn't care too much about that part of it. But just the idea that there's somebody out there that thinks it's okay to sue their parents, it's funny. It's funny.
Good try, though. Like, good try.
Yeah.
That was, it made me giggle. Good try. But no.
You made us talk about the like logistics of it. How would this work if he was right? So, it's a fun thought experiment, I guess. I find it weird that his parents support him and that they're lawyers. Like, the whole thing just kind of feels like a troll.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely feel like he's a troll.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what what comes about it, and to look further into this. And I'm gonna have to watch that video on his views about it and his ideology on the whole thing.
Yeah, because we could be completely wrong. Maybe he's got a way better argument than what we were able to come up with on the spot.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I don't know. I've been thinking about it too. Like, when you sent it to me, I've been thinking about it. When I'm at work and just kind of in my own head, I've been thinking about some of these subjects, and that was one of them. I just couldn't. I was trying to look at it from his perspective. Like, how could I prove in a court of law that I can sue my parents and for not wanting to be born? Like, I didn't give you consent to be born, and so now you have to compensate me. Even though that when I was born and I was super fragile, you didn't just kick me out the hospital window or neglect me and not feed me and, bathe me and take me to the doctor and get me my shots. and took me to the playground and
Oh,
let me go to
shots fired.
school. And
You guys didn't catch that. But shots fired. Yeah, dude. I'm still stuck on the image of a baby just being punted out of a hospital window. For some reason, that's.
But even if you sue them, couldn't they say that all of the things that they bought for you and all the things that they did up until this point was compensation already for you being born? Like, I know you didn't have consent, and I understand that, but at least I tried to give you the best life that I could give you.
Yeah, is he like, I don't like my PlayStation because I didn't want to be born? Like, he's got to own things, and he likes driving his car, and he likes having a job, and like, you can't tell me that having a house isn't nice, and he's essentially saying, like, I don't like any of this shit. I, I don't think he's going that far, though, because at that point, just kill yourself,
Okay, I was really trying to steer away from that and just not say that. But, if you're really going to go that far into it and you're really going to feel that far about it, I can't stop you. I'm not going to stop you. But, I don't want you to. I'm really trying to change your mind more than anything. I don't want you to go and kill yourself. But
I don't think that's what he believes. I don't think he's saying, and we're definitely not saying anybody should kill themselves.
no.
But I don't think he's taking it that far. But if you follow his logic, like, either you hit the wall at the sperm and the egg, and it doesn't make sense anymore, or you hit the wall where it's like, so you don't want to be alive? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
no, because then before then, he's trying to argue the fact of just the whole consent when the sperm hits the egg, like you hit that wall. Now, anything after that, there's that whole wall too, because when maybe, like you were saying with the consciousness, is there a time after the egg hits the sperm where you gain consciousness and can tell, the mother in some way, shape, or form that I don't want to be born, and then you take it from there?
Yeah, I just mean hit a wall more, and like I can't get past that part of his logic. So like when I get to the sperm and the egg, or the bundle of cells, or the bundle of cells has now formed a brain and neurons are firing, I just can't think of a way that his argument would work in court. So now I'm at a wall and I can't go any further. You know?
Dude, oh my God. This just reminded me. Did you see that video that's been resurfacing about Trump?
Resurfacing?
Yeah.
No.
So it's about him in walls.
I love stuff from his past. Like if you look up stuff from the early 2000s, or if you even go back to the 80s and watch interviews with him, it's so fun. He says all the dumb shit, but in different ways, and sometimes completely contradicts everything he said lately. Like the dude he believes everything and nothing all at once.
I'd be able to play something off of Facebook, like just the audio, and I'm not gonna get in trouble for that, will I?
Is it an interview?
No, it's a speech that he does at like a university or something.
Is it while he's running for president?
No,
No,
this is a while ago.
What's the context? Because if it's something that the government did,
No. This is like him giving a speech at a university.
I feel like the university would have rights to it, or whatever organization Trump was with at the time would have the rights for that video. But whoever posted this to Facebook, I mean, they're getting away with it.
I mean, it's a meme, so I'm just gonna
Okay, we can put up memes. We can't put up full clips of things that other people own, though.
I'm gonna try and see if I can get this audio.
It gets so tricky with that shit.
So just listen to this for me for a second.
Never, ever give up. Don't give up. Don't allow it to happen. If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it. Go over it. Go around it. But get to the other side of that wall.
Oh, the irony. Oh my God. Fucking perfect.
Dude, I heard that shit this morning and started dying, man. I was literally laughing so hard.
Okay, I'm glad we got over the worrying about the copyright and just played that shit, because
it's totally worth it.
It needs to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody should just be posting this everywhere all the time.
I knew it was on my Facebook because I shared it, and I was like, I'm definitely sharing this. This needs to be out there because that is hilarious.
Yeah. Dude,
oh my God.
Just 24/7 there should be that clip playing. Anytime Trump's like build the wall, you should just respond, like tweet back at him that video.
I need to figure out where the speech was, if anybody knows and you want to comment and tell us what speech that was that he did, like what university,
Yeah.
where he was at, what year it was, because I don't know. It's just a meme that I found. So, but that's oh my god.
No, it's really fun to go back and find old speeches of his all the way back to the 80s, and it just
People change though.
yeah,
He
yeah,
wasn't
people
talking
change.
about a physical wall. He was talking about a mental wall.
Yeah, for sure. But there's definitely clips of him talking about views that he talks about now back then, and just the contradictions, and also you can kind of see like him forming the views that he has now, or what we think his views. It's so hard to tell to nail down what he actually believes because he's constantly flip flopping on everything. The only thing he's been sturdy on this whole time is building a wall, and that's because it's the one thing that he promised his base, and that they still go crazy for. That's is a buzzword you see at the rallies. It's like build the wall, and everybody fucking flips out. So he's
Now the signs like complete the wall or like
oh
finish
he's
the wall, like he's already started it.
yeah, it's propaganda. It's a propaganda campaign to make people believe that he's going forward with the wall,
He's
to
already
still have
started
faith
it,
in
so I
it.
might as well just like agree with it
Well, it's
and
so his base
approve of
doesn't
it.
flip on him.
Oh, okay.
Because the one thing that he promised that still everybody that's on that side of it is like, yeah, build that wall.
Hey, I'm just I'm not trying to rush you or anything, but it's been a few years, and
It's been.
you told me you were gonna build a wall. You told me that there was gonna be a wall. So when's the wall coming there, bud? Hmm? Hmm? Just saying.
Just.
I was just wondering. It's been a while. You know, elections are coming up soon, so just saying. I'm not trying to rush you or anything. I'm just saying. Like, what do you? See, he's been. Then there's the whole thing of we do have this election coming up in 2020.
Yeah.
So, what if even when he starts to get the wall built, what if there's a new president that doesn't agree with it and is like, stop building the wall and fights everything against it and then makes it so he can't do that?
I think this next election is going to be super interesting because of that. We're either going to get worst case scenario where Trump refuses to leave office, or second worst case scenario where he stays in office because the people reelected him.
Can he refuse to leave?
It's never happened before, but yeah, he can essentially refuse to give up the office.
So pretty much what you're telling me is that if I work for a company and I have a 4-year contract, after that contract is up, I can just be like, nah, I'm not leaving. And I've got like this whole army of people that if you say that, I, have to leave, I'm just going to come and beat you up.
If he has enough support from the populace, so people who voted for him, for Trumpers, yeah, he could. There could be a civil war within the country over whether or not Trump is still our president, or at that point he'd be dictator, king of America.
No.
So that's one possibility. I don't think that's super likely. I think more likely he'll throw a tantrum, not want to leave office. There will be a whole shit show over the whole thing, and then he'll get forcibly removed. If he tries to not leave office, and then yeah, there'll probably be some protests and some riots over it.
Hopefully he just does it, without a fuss.
Yeah,
It
you would
doesn't
hope.
need to be any more of a...
The tantrum he's throwing right now over the wall, though, and then throwing out the propaganda of it's already being built, even though now in the settlement bill that he signed with the Democrats to keep the government open instead of closing it again, the deal now is that he's moving to the slats that he didn't want, the metal slats, instead of a concrete barrier that was originally promised when he was on his campaign trail. So
Wasn't it like you could like just fit through the metal slats?
yeah, and I think it was only like 1,500 miles of it instead of the whole border. And they're going to do little sections, a few miles at a time, and be gaps in it. So only where needed is the plan now. That's what the Democrats agreed to.
I mean, fair enough. You're losing, more and more and more. I mean, it's just going to keep going down. People are going to be like, well...
It doesn't look good for him, yeah.
Yeah.
He's giving ground away to the Democrats, and his base isn't too happy about it. Like Fox News even was kind of ragging on him lately.
Oh, what was that? There was a poll that they came out with, and it was... about taxing the rich. Fox News was not excited about that either.
No, that's really funny to see all these media networks that are supposedly for the people. Once Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets a whole bunch of like popularity behind her, and she's this huge candidate now. Like everybody fucking loves AOC, and she's talking about taxing the rich, and she's trying to get this Green New Deal signed, and she's got a bunch of senators and Congress people on her side. All these media companies that are supposedly like, we're for the people, we're keeping you informed. They flip out and they're like, don't tax the rich.
She was like, wait a minute, they want 80% of people agree with taxing the rich? Fuck, that's me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's really crazy
Mhm.
to watch them try to spin taxing the rich into a bad thing too. And the Green New Deal, when they were talking about the tax levels, it was everything after $10 million gets
Yeah.
taxed. You get to keep everything up to, and then after that, that's where the 80% tax rate starts.
Because why not? Why do you need that much money?
Yeah, it's a question of how much money should you be allowed to have? How much
Yeah.
is too much? And I think once you're at the $1 billion level, you don't need any more than that.
What do you? It's just sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just sitting somewhere. That's honestly why I feel like I don't ever want to be, a billionaire or probably even a millionaire. I want to have nice things. I want to live a comfortable life, and enjoy myself. But like, I'm not just gonna have like millions of dollars just sitting back doing jack shit.
Yeah.
Like I still need to pay my bills, so like I'm gonna work and live a comfortable life. But any extra money that I get, where I'm just like, I don't know what to fucking do with this, charities or start my own charity. Start donating to other places and helping people out, like and just doing random acts of kindness and all that other shit. Like I don't ever want to have that much money.
Yeah, I forget the name of the movement, but Joe had a guy on that's a part of this movement where everything over a certain dollar amount that he makes a year. So let's say you make 100K a year, but you only need 60K to survive. He donates that 40K to charity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, there's a whole
Honestly.
movement of people. Screw antinatalism. If you want, the more optimistic way to look at the world is if you want to help everybody out, make the world a better place for everyone. Donate the money you don't need to people who are suffering more than you are.
Yeah, help them get a better life, and then hopefully they'll return the favor. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie?
Pay it forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Fuck that movie, man.
I like that movie.
No, I love that movie. I'm just saying, like, I'm such an empathetic person, so
I can't do kids getting hurt either.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Like,
Nope.
I refuse to watch the Pet Sematary remake because watching the original Pet Sematary and just that scene in like the first 15 minutes of the movie where the kid gets run over by a semi truck.
Actually, you should have said spoiler alert.
Dude, Pet Sematary's been out forever.
Never
and
seen
also,
it.
it's a novel.
Never seen it.
It's
Never
your
read it.
fault at this point.
Good point.
It's the first 15 minutes of the movie. If you don't know what happens in the first 15 minutes of Pet Sematary, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Also, the rest of the movie is what's important. Like the fact that the kid dies isn't really a spoiler. It just sets up the rest of the movie, and I'm not going to spoil the rest.
Okay. Okay.
But I was like, I don't know, 14, 15 when I first saw the original Pet Sematary because I was really into horror movies. And my dad was like, well, this is a classic. If you haven't seen this, you need to see it. And he doesn't tell me anything about it. And they're having a birthday party for their kid. His name is Gage. Cute name, cute kid. They got a balloon. It's like tied to the picnic table, and then it comes loose. The wind gets it. And it goes out into the street, and Gage chases after it. The parents are setting up like birthday cake and the grill and everything, so they don't see the kid running out into the street. Semi truck just fucking barrels him over, and that's the start of the movie.
Yeah, I'm
I
crying.
can't do it. I
I'm
can't do it.
I wouldn't even watch the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it
Like,
fucked
no.
me up.
That was enough.
I was like, why didn't you tell me, Dad?
Right.
I was gonna have to watch a kid die.
Jesus.
It's rough, man.
Whew.
A good movie. It doesn't really hold up today, but I don't want to watch the remake. I don't care how good that looks.
Yeah, I haven't watched Pay It Forward again. I think I watched it one time, and then I haven't watched it after that, and it's like scarred into my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah. I don't like kids getting hurt or old people. I don't know what movie this was, but I just have like this very vivid memory from childhood. I was probably like 6 years old, and my mom was down in the basement watching a movie on this big screen. You know, those giant box TVs that was like a home theater setup. There was like
Yeah.
6, 7 feet tall and then like
Oh,
4
yeah.
feet deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember carrying them bitches out of the basement.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had one of those, and my mom was watching just some like on TV horror movie, and this dude's in a car, in the back seat hiding, and there's a grandma in the passenger seat, and he stabs the grandma through the seat with a knife. It was like I walked into her watching that scene, didn't know what the movie was, and it was like, why are you killing this old lady? Like, even in a normal horror movie, it doesn't seem like that's the person who deserved to get stabbed. And I told my mom, like, I don't want to watch this.
You're like, Grandma!
Yeah.
Grandma!
My mom's like, where'd you come from? I don't want you watching this either.
You weren't supposed to see it.
Yeah.
Damn.
I can't do it, man. Unnecessary. I'm fine with violence. Violence is fine in movies, but just the unnecessary hurting of elderly or children.
I wonder what some other movies are. Maybe some of our people can give us some movies that maybe you've seen like once and said that you would never watch again for it being messed up or for whatever reason.
Have you ever seen Kids?
No, I don't think so.
It's about like preteen teenagers, and there's some pretty fucked up stuff in there, where it's like the dark side of growing up as a latchkey teenager. Where
As
your,
a
where your parents don't pay attention to you, you just go out and do whatever all day.
yeah,
It follows this group of misfits, and they get into some fucked up shit.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's one that'll stick with you for a while.
Okay, all right. Well, a lot of these movies that we talked about have stuck with me for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through a phase when I was probably like 16, 17, where I was just always searching the internet. I was always Googling, like, what's the darkest, most morbid movie I can find?
Did you ever go on like Best Gore?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that stuck out the most from me still to this day was a dude literally boa constricted, like wrapped himself around a sign. Like his body was wrapped around a speed limit sign. He was going like 70 on a motorcycle with his girlfriend on the back and slammed into the sign. He got wrapped around it. She got tossed into a ditch like 80 feet away.
What?
Yeah, it was fucked up.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing like all the people laying down on train tracks and
Oh,
yeah, all the photos and stuff that come from that.
Faces of Death. Did you
Yeah.
ever watch any of those?
Um,
Back in the day where somebody would get a copy of it from a store that you weren't supposed to have. Like you'd go in the back section where the porn was and there was Faces of Death. He stole it from his dad. And like
the fuck
now
is
all
Faces of Death?
it was just like this series of mostly faked deaths, but there was real ones in there too, where it was like security camera footage of people like just dying in accidents in horrible
Oh
ways.
yeah.
Or there's the the song "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by Filter.
I think so. Yeah.
That's about Bud Dwyer who shot himself live on television.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about.
Yeah,
He just like pulls the revolver out of like an envelope or like a manila folder or whatever.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
at the end of a press conference, and he's like, he starts to be like, "I'm gonna do this," and then pulls the gun out, and then he's like, "Don't panic," and then shoots himself in the face. The story behind that is pretty, like, it's actually kind of an inspiring story, and the reason he did it, he's kind of a hero. If you guys want to check it out, you can look up Bud Dwyer. I don't think we have time for it here today. but
No.
maybe in another episode. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's basically all it was. It was just a series of VHSs that eventually that got adapted to like online. You could find them.
Okay.
But they used to just get passed around amongst friends that weren't supposed to have it back in the day. And
I'll have to ask my dad, see if he ever.
yeah, it was basically like Best Gore, but back before the internet.
Before the internet was so prominent. Oh, so my phone going off earlier. Something that I, am interested in. CS:GO is in their Catalyst major right now.
Oh,
Yeah, in their challenger stage. So I've been getting all the esports notifications about it.
huh.
Yeah, 9 minutes ago, Cloud9 started facing against Winstrike. So we'll see who they've won there. They won 2-1 against. Oh man, I don't even remember who it was, but they're up in the challenger stage right now, so that's good. I don't know. Ninjas in Pajamas won. I'm excited. I can't wait to see who goes.
Yeah, man, esports has gotten huge. I mean, I don't know any of the names you just said, but it's because I don't follow CS closely enough. But if I did, I mean, I'm sure I'd be super excited about it. But it's just crazy how it's almost bigger than normal live sport events. Like esports is there's more people watching that than they're watching the NFL.
I good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a new frontier for media consumption and entertainment.
Yeah, definitely.
And esports, there's kind of the debate of is that actually a sport? I would argue yes.
Yeah, ask a football player to go and just like start playing CS:GO.
You got to put actual time in to be competing at that level.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you asked, any of the CS:GO players to go play in the NFL, any NFL player would look at him and be like, "Well, you haven't practiced. You haven't been playing football since 7th, 8th grade, or even pee-wee football. Like, you're going to have no idea what you're doing." Well, same thing if you go this way. And that's what makes them a professional is that they put in the time and they put in the work and they've, won the rounds and done what they needed to do in order to be the best of the best and to be on a professional team. So there's no reason that it shouldn't be a sport.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
what does your sport do that helps out the world? Like, I mean, yes, you guys making all the money off of it. A lot of players like donate to charities and they do things, and that's awesome. That is exactly what you're supposed to do. All that extra money that you get, that is just sitting back doing nothing, give it away to your community. Support your people. So if you're doing that, awesome. If not, and you're just hoarding all the money for yourself, I mean, what is your sport really doing to help out the humanity and bettering, humanity? I mean, I'm not saying that video games does anything else, it doesn't really benefit humanity in any way except for entertainment. That's the same thing what both of these sports are is entertainment. So for you to say that your sport is better and that ours is not, it would be ridiculous, honestly,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And vice versa. I can't tell you not to play football, but you also don't think of it so highly, like you're not doing anything to better humanity, so there's no reason to be so, shouldn't hate somebody because they don't like the same team as you. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Very tribal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and that goes. I mean, that's mostly for like competitive multiplayer games where that's the sporting and competitive side of it. Even single player or just video games in general, I think of them as experiences and also a form of narrative storytelling. So are movies doing anything for society other than just adding to
No,
the
it's
general?
entertainment. That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Well, and it's this general cloud of ideas that exist inside society. So video games, movies, literature, that's all part of it. And esports is part of it too.
I mean, I do think that video games does play like a part because, I mean, like graphic design and everything, and how companies are trying to make it as realistic as possible and how that can play into, technology in itself and us designing and inventing other things. So I can see how even video games can actually contribute to, society and humanity.
It only takes playing a game that like meant something to you for you to feel that way, where it's like that affected my life in some way. First time I ever played Half-Life 2 and got all the way through the whole story, it completely changed the way I look at the world and storytelling and
Yeah.
writing narratives now. And it's just the game was so well written and well executed that like, oh, you can tell a story like that, and you can be successful telling stories like this. And
I wish games had more of a solo campaign to them nowadays.
that's what's so frustrating to me about like EA, Activision, Ubisoft, all these big companies now. Specifically, EA made a statement like last year or early this year where they said single player is dead, online is where it's at.
Yeah.
And then Red Dead 2 comes out, and the single player campaign is like the most loved thing that's happened in the past decade, and it's doing better than the online.
Oh, really?
People like the single player way more than they like the online.
See, that's what they needed to do, honestly.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, even games that aren't that technical, like in Red Dead you can do so much shit. But what was that? Little Big Planet?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love that game.
That's something that's missing from games nowadays too, is couch co-op. Where you can
Yeah.
just have two controllers, you can sit next to your friend and you can play Little Big Planet, or you even just like split screen fucking FPS games. I miss
Yeah.
playing with my brother Call of Duty on the same television screen, sitting next
Yes.
to each other, yelling at each other.
Yeah. I told you to throw a grenade. I
Quit
did
looking
throw
at my
a grenade.
screen.
Yeah.
Fucking cheater.
Dude, I'm not cheating, man. I'm not. You're like,
You're looking.
no, I'm not. I'm not peeking, bro. I'm not peeking. How do you keep spawn killing me? I'm not peeking, bro. I'm telling you. That's when you would like take a piece of cardboard and like tape it to the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
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 Have one person on top, one person on bottom, or left or right. Well, one person on top, one person on bottom. Babe just fucking like. Don't raise your eyebrows at me.
Are we playing video games or are we having sex? I'm confused now.
Why not both? Heard that.
Where do we go from that?
Dude, that's a good question.
It reminded me. This is a weird tangent, but just the idea of what is a sport. There's been something that YouTube just kind of served to me that I didn't know about until very recently that I've been fascinated with. It's called World Chase Tag. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah.
It's like tag parkour, professional
Yes.
like tag,
Yes.
and
Yes.
tag as a professional competitive sport. I
Looks
didn't know
fun.
it was. It looks amazing.
It looks fun.
It's so entertaining to watch. I watched like 30 videos.
Just wait until it like becomes a thing and we have like an indoor like tag facility that me and you can like go to and just like pay like $15 to get in, and then like there's somebody there that like sets the timer or whatever, and that like referees you, and then you and your buddies can just go and like challenge each other to a parkour game of fucking tag.
Yeah. You want to lose like 3 to 4 hours of your life? Type in World Chase Tag on YouTube.
Yeah. Type in anything on YouTube and you can go down a 3-4 hour because you can just keep clicking on shit. You started on this one topic, by the end of it, you've already gone through 50 other topics.
Yeah, you've time traveled at that point.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. This has been Blue Skies from the Basement.
What's up, everyone? Austin here. I hope you are enjoying this episode. If you are, follow us on Insta at BlueSkiesPod. That's BlueSkiespod. Or on Facebook, just search for Blue Skies from the Basement. If you would like to support us, you can donate at our Patreon. That's patreon.com/BlueSkiesfromtheBasement. Have a great day and stay safe. Later.